A recession now looks inevitable after the bank stress we've seen. My next guest says there's one bright spot, though, that could help stocks outperform. Joining me is Allan Boomer. He's Chief Investment Officer at Momentum Advisors. Allan, it's good to see you. And you're still bullish on China. We haven't heard as much about that story lately. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I am optimistic about China. China's reopening. It reminds me of the United States circa 2021. When we saw just a rampant return to economic activity, and we're starting to see that in China. And I think your portfolio needs to reflect that because the U.S., you mentioned it, it's almost inevitable that we're heading for a recession in the next 12 to 18 months. And so we might need to start looking for some growth outside of the United States.
Let's talk about some of the stocks. I mean, my eyebrows went up when I saw that Alcoa is one of your picks. It's had a tough year so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, Alcoa is really in the metals business. And when you think about China and you think about their power as a manufacturer and a producer, they really need to consume a lot of metals. And so Alcoa is really big in aluminum. China uses about half the aluminum that's produced and used in the world. And so as aluminum gets used, as prices rise, we think Alcoa is really going to stand to benefit. For every 10% up move in aluminum prices, we expect that Alcoa's earnings are going to increase by about 20%. So they're really positively levered to that aluminum price and other metal prices as well.
Sure, although I guess, there's plenty of people who say their biggest concern is not, upside in aluminum. It's really more downside with commodities. Even today, the softs, the agricultural commodities, lumber's back at its lowest since 2020. Is it just possible that they're telling us there's really not going to be as much strength, broadly speaking, maybe even globally speaking as we expected?
Well, there's only one way to find out, right? We'll see what the future holds. But I will say the metals in general, a lot of these commodities in general are trading at a discount to the broad market. And so we like to buy things at a discount. And you can buy these metal producers at about a 20% discount to where other stocks are trading in the S&P 500.
So I kind of raised this in the market check a moment ago. A lot of focus is on the fact, Allan, that just a couple of stocks, tech stocks, NVIDIA, the like, have really driven all the gains this year. You strip them out and the S&P would be lower. The Russell, as we said, is kind of closer to making new lows than to making new highs. What does that tell you?
Yeah, so I think it's rotation time, right? And one of the rotations that we're doing is, again, thinking about companies like Alibaba. Like that's a tech name. It's levered to the Chinese consumer, a consumer that we know is being revitalized with the reopening of their economy. Last year, it was all about value. This year, it's been all about growth. And again, I think the ability for U.S. growth stocks to continue to outperform the way they have is becoming very limited. And that's why, again, we're looking at China as, again, just a reopening trade that we think that clients will benefit from and investors will benefit from.
So just to be clear, for people who are piling into the likes of Meta and Microsoft and NVIDIA now saying, in a low growth environment, I need growth, you don't think that's a smart thing to do?
I won't say that. Like NVIDIA, like Microsoft, like these are companies that you should own for the long run, right? I just think that right now, when I think about, if I want to position myself for the next, I'm going to call it 12 months, I really want to be closer to, an economy that is also got some growth potential ahead of it, right? In the U.S., recession is the word of the day. Economists are every day, they're reducing the expectation for growth in the United States. In China, it's the opposite. Like the Chinese government has a 5% growth target. It's looking like 6% could be the number that they achieve this year. And so, again, you want to be where there will be growth. And I think a lot of the United States, the growth is already priced in. Yeah. Not to say we should sell out of those names, but again, I do think there's better opportunities today.
All right, Alibaba, I mentioned Alcoa, Bunge. Allan, thanks for your time today. It's good to see you.